how I went from absolutely zero French to intermediate in 6 months. Hello everyone, it's Wednesday and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today guys, as you can see from the title, I'm going to be talking about how I went from absolutely zero French to intermediate / advanced kind of in 6 months. Yes, I didn't obviously know the entire language after 6 months of studying French, but I did get to a certain level where I was able to have a pretty basic and fluent conversation with someone in French. So yeah, that's what this video will be about. It will be about how I got to that level in French in 6 months. So let's go. Okay, so going way back to when I started learning French, this was at the beginning of when the pandemic hit, so 2019, March 2019. So we were all stuck at home, and I had been wanting to learn French for a while now, and so I decided, why not use this free time that I have? We had so much free time, and I was like, why might as well use this time, to the best that I can and start learning French. For literally the entire quarantine, I just stuck to learning French. I just learned French and I was studying it every single day. I honestly think I studied for about 1 or 2 hours each day. So yeah, it was kind of a lot, but honestly I really enjoyed it. So it really even wasn't like to do it. I just it was just my hobby, to be honest. So yeah, I was able to get to a more advanced level in French just because I did have a lot of time. So if you're not able to get to this level in to an advanced level in 6 months, it's okay, don't worry about it, because we all learn differently. And also, just a quick disclaimer, my methods may or may not work for you. So if they don't work for you, it'll be fine, and if they do work for you, it's totally fine as well. But anyways, let's get to the real deal, which is how I actually did learn French in 6 months. Okay, so there were 6 main things that I did, guys, that really helped me get to the level that I got to in French in 6 months. The first thing that I did, and the thing that I think really kind of helped me become more advanced in French quicker, was that I learned 1,000 words in French. I learned the 1,000 most common words in French. I literally wrote them on flashcards, and I still have the flashcards to this day. I made this little box for the flashcards, and these aren't even all the flashcards because it was 1,000. These flashcards, I would study them over and over and over again, and honestly I really enjoyed studying vocab. It was something it just really helped pass time really quickly, and I enjoyed it and I was learning. I spent, I think, about 2 months learning these 1,000 words. You can really learn these words in 10 days by doing 100 words each day, but I feel that was a lot, and I really wanted to memorize them for the long term, and so that's why I would memorize 10-15 words per day, and I would just constantly be going over them each day that would pass. So yeah, I would memorize 10 words each day, and then the next day I would learn 10 new words, and then practice the ones from the day before. So that's how I would learn the 1,000 words in French, and this was just so beneficial because it was a really nice way of introducing the language into my daily life, and especially because they were the 1,000 most common words in French, I was able to actually kind of connect these words to things in my actual life, for example, my bed, the book, the water bottle, just basic things like that. I was able to kind of point out in my everyday life, if that makes any sense. Also, being able to learn the 1,000 most common words in French really helped me kind of practice memorizing things much quicker, and this was really beneficial for me because when I started learning conjugations, that's when it really helped me as well memorize the conjugations, but we'll get into that a bit later. Okay, so now the second thing that I did when I started learning French was that while I was studying these 1000 most common words in French, I watched videos in French. I would basically watch French YouTubers. And in the beginning, it was honestly like a bit hard because I would listen to French just videos and I would not understand a single thing. Like guys, I'm telling you, I would not understand basically anything because obviously I was starting off learning, and so I literally kept listening to it just because if you put yourself into like the environment, you know, it's gonna be easier to adapt to it. And so although I didn't really understand what I was listening to, I would just watch the YouTubers, for example, a day in my life. They would be doing their bed and they would be like talking, you know, and it was really just good for me to see because I would just hear the language every day. And even if you don't understand it, it's fine, but just immersing yourself in the language and listening to it every single day, I think this is what really helped me practice my listening comprehension and get better at it every single day. And I literally would listen to this. I would just listen to French videos and watch them every single day for at least like 10 to 20 minutes each day. And this really improved my listening comprehension for the future. And what was exciting was that after about like a month of listening to these like videos, and apart from like learning the 1000 words, was that I was able to actually understand more of the videos because these 1000 words, they're like commonly used, and so I started picking up on those commonly used words, and so it was just exciting being able to kind of understand more about what was being said in the videos, you know, and like actually being able to understand a little bit more. Also, listening to the language every single day really helped me improve my accent because I listened to the accent so much that I started kind of talking like the people that I was watching. And so I would start to get the accent that they had. And obviously because they're French, they had a French accent. So obviously, you know, I didn't want to have like a weird accent. I wanted to like replicate like what they were doing and their accent. And so that's what really helped me kind of have somewhat of a good accent in French. Okay, so now moving on to the third thing that I did. And this was 3 months after I started learning French, and after I finished learning the 1000 words in French, I started to focus on verb conjugations. I personally am such a grammar lover. I love anything to do with like conjugations, verbs, grammar, sentence structures. I love all of that stuff. Now, there's people that don't, but personally, I love doing this. And so for the first month of learning French verb conjugations, I focused on the present tense. Now, I think focusing on the present tense is really helpful because you can like just focus on the now, you know, focusing if you want to write something, you can just use the present tense and not, you know, it's just helpful as beginners. And yeah. So one thing that I would do was that I would go onto the YouTube channel Learn French with Alexa, and I would just search up verbs in the present tense, and I would just literally conjugate them over and over and over again. And I actually have my first French notebook. This one, it's a little worn out, but you know, it's fine. And I literally have conjugations, like for example here, I literally have just conjugations, and I would just conjugate the verbs over and over and over and over again. And that's literally what helped me really ingrain them in my head, and I would just conjugate them. So yeah. Something that I would want to point out is that I started conjugating regular and irregular verbs at the same time, and something that I would want to recommend, and kind of a mistake that I guess I did, is that I would recommend to just focus on regular verbs in the beginning and then moving on to irregular verbs after you kind of get the hang of how to conjugate the regular verbs in French. So the fifth thing that I started doing was that I started reading children's stories on this website called Fable Cottage. That's what it's called. And so they have a ton of different languages. They have Spanish, French, German, Italian, etc. And they have a lot of children's stories, and I think that as a beginner it's really good to practice reading in your language. Obviously for me it was French. It was really good for me to read in French, and I would read out loud to myself because obviously it would, you know, help me get the hang of how words are pronounced in French. And if I didn't know a word or how to pronounce it, I would just click on the word on the website and it would tell me how to pronounce it. And if I didn't know what it meant, I would also click on it and it would let me know what it meant. I started reading after about like 4 months of learning French, just because I had more knowledge of the language. I kind of knew more conjugations, I knew more vocab words, and I knew the structure of the language. This, guys, helped my pronunciation so much, because I would constantly be, you know, I was listening to French and I was, you know, reading these books, and so it would really help me a lot. Also, something that I really like about this specific website is that you are able to turn on the audio. So for example, if you don't really want to read it, you can turn on the audio and just listen to it. And this is also what helped my listening comprehension a lot. So yeah, the 6th thing that I did for learning French was that I had a notebook. And this was my first notebook that I used. It was kind of my journaling notebook. And in this notebook, I would just write out just short phrases. Like in the beginning, if you could see here, I would just write like short sentences talking about like what I ate, what I did, you know, just kind of like random stuff like that. And I really like doing this every single day because it improved my writing in French. But I would also, after I finished writing, I would just say, you know, I would just repeat what I wrote, and it would help me a lot. And if I didn't know how to like write a word, I would literally just search it up, and that's how I learned more vocab words apart from the ones that I learned from my 1,000 words in French. And like I said, I would do this every single day, and it really helped my writing, my vocab, and my speaking skills, because yeah, you know, I would constantly be doing it every single day. So yeah, guys, that was basically everything that I did. Well, most of the things that I did that helped me get from like 0 French to like intermediate French in 6 months. Again, like I said, guys, I had so much time during quarantine. Now again, we're all more busy, and so it might take you guys a bit more longer if you really want to do this. But like I said, everyone is different, so we all learn at different paces, and the different methods that we use are also different for each person. But yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys found this video helpful. And just know that I'm still learning French, so I didn't completely learn the French language in 6 months, but I really did get really advanced in the language because of all of these things that I did and I explained to you guys. So yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching this video. I hope you all have an amazing day, and yeah, see you guys next video. Bye guys.